The federal government is intensifying efforts to boost job creation and revenue generation in the solid minerals sector through a new partnership between the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development and the North Central Development Commission. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Alake, stated this while receiving the management of the NCDC in Abuja.
Alake said the collaboration is aimed at unlocking the vast mineral potential of the North Central region with a strong focus on mineral processing and value addition, explaining that over 300 artisanal and small-scale miners have been organized into cooperatives to curb illegal mining and integrate operators into the formal sector.
What we need now is to join our hands, put our hands on the plow, and translate these ideas into action. The North Central is really blessed with solid minerals. And from what I've discovered here, and if you had gone through maybe a little of what we have been able to achieve, I would say more than 60% or 70% of our achievements revolve around the North Central. Take the value addition policy, which we emphasize is part of our 7-point agenda that we enunciated when we came in 23. Now, that value addition policy seeks to stop the exportation of raw minerals out of Nigeria, to power the factories of other people. Change that paradigm into local processing. That's why that policy is local value addition. And I announced it myself that we will no longer be granting licenses to companies that do not show us a critical path towards local value addition, which means you come in, if you license, you have a site which is rich in whatever mineral there. You don't just begin to ship out the raw materials. There is a terminology in the sector, they call it from pit to pot. Pit, which means they dig, and then export. From pit to pot. So it's one of our major policies to stop that, such that factories will not begin to spring up. And of course, the multiplier effect, employment, development of the communities, the technological transfer and everything. And we became very serious with it. And at the last count, a lot of factories started springing up.
According to the minister, the government has also intensified enforcement with more than 300 illegal miners arrested, while about 150 suspects, including foreigners, are currently being prosecuted. Alake noted that the federal government's local value addition policy is already yielding results, with new mineral processing projects underway in the North Central region, adding that the policy has contributed over $2 billion to the nation's economy by promoting in-country processing of mineral resources, reducing raw material exports, and boosting industrial growth.
When you are restructuring and trying to put in the enduring structures, the dislocation will cause temporary pain. So people must react and shout, oh, this. But if there is that resilience to go through the curve, as soon as you turn the curve, the manifestations of those policies begin to show, and then life becomes more palatable, more livable, more enjoyable, more comfortable. And then the only way you can go is up. That is the best analogy. So you have a very critical role to ensure that you are not doing it for Ashiwaju or for government. You are doing it for the nation. And your own names would also be written and etched in the sense of time, that when you were there, when you had the opportunity, you made your own contributions. And in fact, and this is my own guiding philosophy, your conscience will be clear. And you can go to bed and sleep They don't have to make the material acquisition the watchword, because materialism is flippant.
The minister pointed out that the importance of collaboration between the ministry and development commissions, describing solid minerals sector as critical to Nigeria's economic diversification drive under the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. He assured the commission of the ministry's full support and urged its leadership to prioritize transparency, strategic partnerships, and effective project delivery.
You know that we are here today to seek collaboration as North Central Development Commission. Might interest you to know, sir. We are created by an act of 2024, and just last year we were inaugurated, took over the office temporarily in Lafia, our headquarters, and we'll be managing. But most importantly, we have realized based on our mandate that we are expected to also look at the minerals subsector. Why? Because the North Central geopolitical region is one of the regions that is, I don't think there's any region that can be compared to North Central geopolitical region in terms of mineral deposit, because we pride ourselves with massive deposit.
Earlier, the managing director of the NCDC, Cyril Senil, said the visit was to explore areas of collaboration to drive sustainable development in the region. He proposed the establishment of a special purpose vehicle to accelerate investment and development in the mining subsector. Both parties agreed to set up a technical working committee to advance the partnership. The North Central Development Commission was established under the North Central Development Commission Act of 2024 to address infrastructure and development challenges across Benue, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, Plateau states and the Federal Capital Territory. Abuja. Mania, OCB, Asset Television News.